All right, everybody. Happy Tour Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm super excited about these programs that we're going to talk about today because, yes, all three are new, which is great. So great. And they're quite popular already. So I have some new guests to talk to you today, and I have six timer, a six timer, which is definitely the most anyone has ever presented on Tour Tuesday. Well, so thank you. All right. Without further ado, we are going to start talking about trains and trolleys of Northeast Pennsylvania. That's a mouthful. Trains and trolleys of Northeast Pennsylvania. Say that 5 times really fast. July 25th to 26th. It's a quick 2 day, 1 night trip. It is packed with so much good stuff, which is probably why it's almost sold out. But I still want to present to you today because we will do this again next year. It was so popular this year. Don't worry, there's still a little room. If you definitely want to book, you might want to book it right now online, or get on the wait list probably by first thing tomorrow morning. But this is a great trip, and we will offer it again and again. So that's why I want to present it to you. There is one breakfast included and one dinner, and you can see the rates are fantastic. $519 per person for two people in a room, and $619 per person to have your own room. Doesn't that sound fantastic? I have three new guests, three new presenters today to talk to you and tell you about this trip. And I'm going to introduce them right before they talk about their portion of the trip because they all overlap a little bit, but they all have kind of specialties. So we're going to first start with Alexa Peregrine. Hi, Alexa.
Hi.
Alexa is the director of sales of Lackawanna County, which represents Scranton, Steamtown, the Northeast PA Visitors Bureau, right? There's lots that Alexa is responsible for. And Alexa, I don't know if you remember, but you invited me on a FAM a couple years ago, so I
Mhm.
got to experience all of this myself. So this was a fun tour for me to plan because I have been to all of these super cool places, and I know you will like them. So welcome for your first time, Alexa.
Thank you very much. And everybody, please be kind. It is my first time. So please be kind. I'm doing
These
my
are the
best.
kindest people you have ever met, trust
They
me.
they all look it, trust me.
So, so in the morning, we're going to head up to Scranton.
Mhm.
And our first stop is Steamtown. So tell us about Steamtown.
So
Ah,
Steamtown is our national park within Scranton itself. We actually have three national park affiliates within Lackawanna County, which is kind of a odd thing to have, or I should say a pretty unique thing to have within the county, such a small area. But Steamtown National Historic Site is our national park. You can get your passports, your national park passport stamped there. I highly recommend it if anybody is a big fan of visiting the national parks. Um, Even if you are not a huge train fan, this museum is still incredible. It is massive. It was the original roundhouse within Scranton, within downtown Scranton. There actually used to be tunnels that connect underground over to the Radisson Historic Hotel. And they have since been bricked up, but it was a lot easier for workers to travel between them through the underground tunnels. So it was the original roundhouse and the working train station or rail yard, I should say. You will see very unique pieces there. The roundhouse itself is incredible. When you stand over the engines, like I said, I'm not a huge train fan, but when I visit Steamtown, it still amazes me at the size of these engines. Um, on top of that, you also have the history museum, and then you also have the technology museum on site as well that you can walk through. The technology museum explains how a steam engine works, explains different jobs within the rail yard or on the railroads or within the engines themselves when they were running. And then the history part, which is my favorite, that explains different people involved. It explains how steam trains came to be, how it corresponds with our anthracite coal history in the area. Um, it also discusses Phoebe Snow, if anybody is familiar with that marketing advertisement that they used back at the turn of the century, and just also how it impacted the Industrial Revolution. So Steamtown, one of my favorite places. Train fans could spend 5 hours on site. Non-train fans, I always recommend about 2 to 3 hours because it's so big. So you're going to see a lot when you're at Steamtown.
I remember when I got there, like you just feel like miniature compared to these humongous trains,
Yes.
and you really
Yes.
get close to them. It's
Yes.
it's such a cool experience.
We're
Such a
actually expecting in June, not in July, in June, we're expecting probably about 100,000 people to visit Steamtown over, I think about a week or 2 week period because Union Pacific is bringing in their big boy, the only big boy in the world that is currently functioning, and they're going to bring it and stand it next to our big boy engine. So it's a big deal.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And then we get to take a train ride.
Yes. So you will get to take one of the trains. You'll be taking it around the city of Scranton. They do basically a loop within the area on their tracks, and you're going to get to see some pretty amazing sights, including the Radisson Lackawanna Historic Hotel. That was the original train station within downtown Scranton. The architecture is stunning. It's like a French Renaissance style architecture. They'll hit on some of the history of the city. And once again, how it was impacted with the Industrial Revolution and passenger trains.
Awesome. That's great. Then we get to go to lunch.
To Coopers.
If you, well, and we haven't talked about yet, like the fame of Scranton, what has put, I mean, obviously a national park has put Scranton on the map, but, for those of us that are fans of The Office, The Office definitely sort of sealed Scranton on the map, right?
A little bit, yeah. So if anybody is an Office fan or has a a family member, if you can, I want to see some of the hands raised up in the chat. So if you want to put that you know somebody who's a huge fan of The Office, could put that in there. It's always interesting to see how many people I see some hands raised. Um, it's always interesting to see that the tourism that has developed because of The Office. But Cooper's in and of itself is a museum, which is why Sandy put it on your itinerary. The food is good, but I always recommend, and they love this, walk through the restaurant. It's a museum. It's owned by the same people. J.J. Cooper purchased it when he returned home from the war in the 1940s. It was an actual train station originally. And then as the restaurant grew, they just started adding a pirate ship. So it turned from a train station into a pirate ship. They have an octopus on the top of this roof. There is a life-size paper mache whale in one of the rooms. And then some of the owners just have unique collections and they've just put them around. One of them likes to collect vintage cameras, and there's a corner of vintage cameras. The one bathroom, the women's bathroom in one area is all Elvis. So there's pictures of Elvis everywhere and music playing Elvis. The men's bathroom is the Beatles. So no matter where you turn, there's something to look at. So highly recommend walking through it. It's such a unique, um, very unique circus, as we call it. It's a beautiful circus, is what I like to call it. So it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
You'll have a good time there.
Yeah, we had to make sure that we leave enough time when we go to Cooper's so that we're not
Yes.
rushed through.
And there's also the gift shop. So if you do have any Office fans, you can stop in the gift shop and you can get a lot of unique Office gifts for those fans. Christmas is, right around the corner. So just saying.
I'm sure there's people counting the number of days until Christmas for
Oh
sure.
yeah, me included.
All right, and then we finish up our time in Scranton at the Electric City Trolley Museum with a trolley ride. So tell us what that's going to be like.
Yes, so you actually go back to Steamtown National Historic Site. It's on the same property. The Trolley Museum is really cool. It's actually put together by volunteers. It's county owned, but it is put together by volunteers who are dedicated with this. You'll actually see a unique collection of items from a gentleman who built a trolley a miniature trolley system in his backyard at one point, and then donated everything to and all of his collection to the trolley museum. So it's interesting. Um, they do cutouts and whatnot of the trolley itself. And then you get to take an excursion on an antique trolley. So they have two. One is 1926 and one is 1929. And they are true electric trolleys that they have restored and are now on the tracks. You will take a ride past the city. So once again, going past the Radisson, but then you're going to go out into the country a little bit. So you're actually going to take a little detour through the woods on some of the original Laurel Line tracks, which is a very famous track in this area. You will also go past an old coal mine entrance that they're going to point out to you. Just different parts of the woods that they're going to point out different points of interest or things that used to be there, including things like Luna Park. And then they are going to take you up to the PNC Fields baseball stadium, which actually houses their restoration shop. And they're going to take you into the restoration shop and they're going to show you how they do restore these trolleys to their original glory. And then you hop back on the trolley and they take you home.
Yeah, super cool. Super cool. I think I remember like changing my seat to go to face forward because
Yes.
like I don't like to ride backwards.
So yeah, that's the unique thing with the old trolleys. You can pick up the back of the seat and you can just flip it backwards and now you're facing the other way on the trolley. So that's always fun to do.
Yeah.
And you'll also go through a mile-long tunnel, which is the longest tunnel for a trolley system. So you'll go through a mile-long tunnel, hold your breath, don't, but you know.
I love it. That sounds awesome. Yeah, that's a lot already. I'm wondering, did I plan enough time to do all these things? I better double check. Well, thank you very much, Alexa. I appreciate it.
You're
And
welcome.
now I'm going to introduce Sheena Daly.
Oh,
Sheena is is here to talk about Wilkes-Barre. We're joking about this before. Wilkes-Barre, Wilkes bar, um, all of the above. Apparently, there's you can say it any way you want, and no one will correct you. But we're going to head to Wilkes-Barre after. I'll call it Wilkes-Barre because that's what I'm used to. We're we're going to head there after Scranton. Because we're gonna stay at a lovely new restored property. So anyway, Sheena is the sales and marketing director of Visit Luzerne County. And Wilkes-Barre is in Luzerne County. And she's going to take us through where we're going to stay and what we're going to do that night.
Hello. Alexa is a hard act to follow with all of the really fun things in Scranton. So bear with me. I'm also very new, first time. I'm new to the job also. So thrilled to be here. You're going to be staying at a wonderful hotel. It's been completely renovated. You will love it. Um, and then for dinner, you get to go around Wilkes-Barre Public Square. We have something for everybody. So whatever you're craving that night, if you want Italian food or if you want pizza, we have charming little local restaurants. So it's going to be a tough choice for you. I'm sorry about that. But we have Franklin's Murdanos, we have Cafe Toscana, we have the Downpour, which has really pretty lights in the back with these umbrellas, nice for pictures. We have Tai Tai, we have the Vault, it's a restaurant inside of an old bank. We have Franco's for pizza and Istanbul Grill if you would like Mediterranean. So like I said, something for everyone. You have to decide. Maybe you can go to a couple different places, have a drink at one, go have dinner at another. We encourage you to walk around the square. It'll be beautiful in July. Um,
How much walking is there down to in that square?
it's not too much walking, and if you do feel like walking, speaking of trains and trolleys, we could walk up the street a little bit to visit Luzerne County, which is housed in an old train station that's been restored.
Oh,
So we could go there and I
is
could
that
show
the
you.
visitor center?
It is the visitor center,
Oh,
yes.
very cool. All right. All
Just a
right.
short walk from dinner if anyone is interested.
So, any outdoor eateries?
A lot of the places do have outside seating.
Awesome.
Let's see,
And shopping
Franklin
too,
is
or is it
one.
mostly just restaurants?
It's mostly just restaurants. Uh, yes. We just restaurants have to think.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Anything else you want to tell us about Wilkes-Barre?
Not at this moment.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you,
I'll be
Sheena.
more prepared for next time. I'm
No,
too
all
excited. I don't know what I'm saying.
very good, very good. All right, well, we're gonna wake up. Oh, by the way, we do get a cookie usually when we check into the
Oh,
DoubleTree
yes, your
Hotel,
cookie.
so
Yes, yes.
gotta have that. So we're gonna wake up on our second morning at the DoubleTree, and we'll check out, and then we'll head to Pittston. And this is where Jacqueline Fratta takes over. Jacqueline is the visitor center manager at Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau, sorry. Jacqueline is also a first-time presenter. So, hi, Jacqueline.
Hello, everyone.
So can you take us through, well, I guess when we get to Pittston, we're gonna take a one-way train excursion aboard the train called the Pittston. Like it's a little confusing. And then we're gonna head to Jim Thorpe. So tell us about that excursion and what we can expect.
Okay, so that excursion's beautiful. It brings you the full way through the Lehigh Gorge, through Whitehaven. You'll see the river. You'll go along the river the entire time, and then when you get to Jim Thorpe, that's where I spend most of my waking hours. There is also another train there.
Gotcha. So on this, so this one will be in the Crown Class coach, which is large reclining seats, operable windows, and clean restrooms. Everybody always wants to know, are there bathrooms on board the train? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And there is a dining car. So if anybody wants to get their morning coffee or second or third cup of coffee or beverage, so it'll be a nice, fun ride, and it's nice. It's one way, so the bus will chase us, as we say. So you don't, it's something different. One, you're going from point A to point B, and then when you get to point B, you're in Jim Thorpe. So tell us about Jim Thorpe.
So Jim Thorpe also has a lot of history, just as Alexa said with her town. All our towns, the coal towns, we're all connected. I feel like I found my people with the other train station managers. But once you get to Jim Thorpe, it's very historic. It's like stepping back in time. It's absolutely beautiful. They don't let any chains in. It's all mom and pop restaurants and stores. Asa Packer was the one who initially founded the town and began the transportation of the coal on the train. His mansion is one of the things you can tour while you're in town. There's also the old jail museum, which tells a lot of the history of the Molly McGuires, which were the first Irish Union. They were the coal workers. They went against the train. Then there's the Mock Chunk Museum, which tells the name of the town prior to it being Jim Thorpe. That goes way back. There's also St. Mark's Church, which has Tiffany stained glass windows in it. They're beautiful. All our restaurants are great. The D&L trail behind the station is a great walk. You should come in along that as you're coming through the gorge. And once you get there, if you want to hike, you could hike. We have bike rentals, whitewater rafting. There's always something to do.
So when we come in off the train, we'll just walk, it'll drop us off right in downtown Jim Thorpe, right?
Absolutely. You'll be right outside the station.
Got it. And then we
Yep.
can walk around, easily walkable. The town is easily walkable, right?
Yes, sure. So stop in the station. When you get there, you can see us. That's where we are. And we'll have a walking map for you. And there's two main roads. There's Broadway and there's Race Street. So most of the town is walkable. A little hilly, but walkable.
Awesome. Very good. Very good. And then after we're done eating lunch, we take our final train ride of the trip. We do a round trip train ride aboard the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway. We're in the classic dome cars on this trip. So tell us about this one.
So the dome cars are nice because you're high up and you could really see the river and the trees and everything good. They don't serve meals on there, but there is a snack car. Your host or hostess can take you to it. You can also bring any food or drink on you want other than alcohol. And there's tables on there. So if you want to sit and have a snack and stuff, it's really nice.
Awesome. Very good. And then we'll head home. So that brings us to the end of this 2-day trip, which, as you saw, has a lot to offer. I forgot to show this slide at the beginning. These are the dates, the prices. I mentioned the meals. So let me just review this trip. Let's see. The tour director is Rhonda Cohen. It already has 48 people on it, so there's just 6 seats left. But again, if you want to book on the wait list in case somebody cancels, you can call us to do that. Or we will offer this trip again next year. So you're more than welcome to come on that trip with us. So before we move on, does anybody have any questions about this trains and trolleys of Northeastern Pennsylvania trip? See, Alexa, they're such good listeners. Like they never have any questions. It's great.
I love
I mean,
it.
you guys could have questions. It's not.
I know. I'm always prepared for the questions too, because we oh, see, somebody did get a question in there. There you
Yeah,
go.
of course it's for me. It's not for you. But Ellen wants to know if we're picking up in Woodbridge. We always will try to pick up in all of our overnight pickup locations with a minimum of 3 travelers. So as of right now, we are planning to, but as long as we have 3 people to pick up there. If we have less than 3, we'll call you and we'll ask you to come to a different location. I don't know off the top of my head if there are 3 people from Woodbridge, so you can give us a call tomorrow and ask us that, unless Samantha can look it up. Yeah, so I don't know off the top of my head.
I
Okay,
have a
well,
I have a challenge for everybody if they do come in. You have to find out the answer to why Scranton is named the Electric City. That's everybody's challenge if they visit.
okay. Rhonda's on this call today. So Rhonda, she's our tour director. So you're going to have to track that, Rhonda. Make sure everybody can answer that question. Leilani asks, is there an opportunity for everyone to view both bathroom themes in Cooper? So if you're a woman and you want to see the Beatles, is it enough outside of the men's room, or do you have to just go in and check it out?
Well, some of the men will have to clear it out for you so that you can go in, but there's also a Taylor Swift bathroom in the back. So that's the new one, is the Taylor Swift bathroom for the women.
That's what I
Um,
wanted.
I don't know what the back bathroom is for the men. I know somebody told me, but I forget what it is. I forget what theme it is. So,
You
but
guys might have to go in groups and commandeer the bathroom for the opposite gender.
yes.
I love it. Great question. Great question. See, that was a good one. I got
I'm
it.
good with that.
That was good. That was good. All right. Well, does anybody have any other questions? All right, you ladies from Northeastern Pennsylvania are good to go. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. We will bring a full motor coach to you this July. And so wave to the Star Bus when you see it.
Thank you for your time, Sandy, and everybody. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome. You're very welcome.
All
All
right.
right, we are moving on. I would like to welcome back for her 6th time, a record 6th time, Sharon Kreska. Yay, Sharon. Sharon's joining us from US Tours. And you guys know, if you've been on here before, if you've seen Sharon, Sharon works for US Tours, which is a company just like Star Tours, and they develop tours. But we're super busy in our office. We like to develop tours and do all that stuff, but we can't develop all of them. We just there's just too many. So we ask people like US Tours to help us develop tours, and sometimes they just come to us with great ideas that we haven't even helped to ask them for their help, but they're like, "Oh, we have a great tour idea. You need to offer this." And we look at it and we're like, "You're right. This is great. Like I would have never thought to celebrate Andy Griffith's 100th birthday, or I didn't know that there was a Yorktown Victory Parade. You know, these are like the best kept secrets. Well, the U.S. tourist team will unearth these secrets for us and present these wonderful trips to you. And the first trip that we're going to talk about today is the Yorktown Victory Parade trip, Yorktown, Virginia, but it's not even just in Yorktown, Virginia, it's all over Virginia. So I will well, first let me introduce October 16th to 21st. So great, like right in the middle of October, should be some good foliage. It's not quite too cold yet, not too hot. You'll see there's a lot of meals in there, 12 meals. Um, it's $3,200 per person based on two people in a room and $3,900 if you get your own room. But as you will see, there's a lot to do on this trip. So I will stop talking and I will let Sharon start talking. Welcome back, Sharon.
Thank you, Sandy. It's always great to be here, and I just love sharing our tours and our unique itineraries with everyone. Um, this tour is near and dear to my heart. I just love this part of Virginia, and it's just so historical, and especially as we're going into this year with the 250th celebration, it's just everybody's just drawn to the area and all of the history that's there. So the first day on this trip, as you leave, you're going to make your way to Alexandria, Virginia. Beautiful little town, old town. Alexandria is just that. Lots of old historic buildings, little quaint stores, lots of eateries on the main street. We're going to actually go and tour one of the old museums, which is the Gatsby's Tavern. This is an 18th century tavern, and that is a place where Thomas Jefferson has stayed, George Washington has stayed. So it has just tremendous amounts of history there. And they always say, when you see that sign, George Washington slept here, like this is actually a place where he slept. It is accurate 100%. So we're going to tour the tavern. And then after that, then we're going to be moving on to the tall ships. So we're going to go not too far over and we're going to be boarding the Providence. And the Providence is an 18th century tall ship. Again, same time frame as the tavern. And you'll get to experience the life of a sailor as it was when they were fighting the American Revolution. So you get to go on board, you get to meet some of the crew. They'll let you have a little hands-on experience with some of the stuff on the boat. Just a really good time. You also get to enjoy either a glass of wine or a glass of beer on board. So that's always a nice little perk for the afternoon with the sailing. And then we're going to head back to Gatsby's Tavern for dinner. So you'll get to actually dine where George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Patrick Henry all dined at one time. And then we're going to check into our hotel in Alexandria, Virginia. All right.
Oops.
No, we're good. Ah. Did we skip one? No, we're good. Okay,
No, we're good.
sorry.
Yep.
That's the next one. Sorry. Okay, so we'll check into our hotel in the Alexandria area. And then on the next morning, we'll have breakfast at the hotel before we head out for a full day. We'll check out, board our motor coach, and head over to Mount Vernon. Just a short drive from Alexandria. And of course, Mount Vernon is the resting place but was the home of George Washington. He slept here also. Imagine that. And you can actually see his bedroom on the tour. This is a guided tour. There's also a visitor center there, which has some great exhibits that you can walk into. You'll get to see the ballroom. That's the picture on the right there with the green walls. So it's just a really beautiful place to visit. And you'll be able to have lunch here on your own at the cafe, which is located on the property.
I just was at Mount Vernon actually in December. They just reopened the second floor to the public after restoring it. I almost said renovating it, but restoring it.
Yeah. And
And
it was
it's super
quite a
cool.
long time for them to restore it.
It took a
It
long
seemed like
time.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So after we get done at Mount Vernon, you're gonna, like I said, have lunch on your own there. Then in the afternoon, we're gonna head over and we're gonna tour George Mason's Gunston Hall. Just a short ride, again, 18th century, so same time frame. And this mansion was like, well, it's for its name. It was built by George Mason. He was one of our founding fathers as well. So lots of history there. It's a 5,500 acre slave plantation. So you're getting a little bit of a twist on some of that history there. But it is restored. You see the pictures there. A lot of the furnishings are original. So that is something that is always fun to see how it really was, and it's not just a recreation. That night, we're going to check into the Hilton Garden Inn, and you're going to be there for the next 4 nights. So we
I
can
love a good 4 night
well,
stay in a hotel where you can actually like unpack.
exactly relax, right? Yes, and kind of, not just live out of your suitcase and pack up in the morning.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it's good. So you'll have a chance to unwind a little bit, and we'll enjoy dinner at a local restaurant and have time to relax in the evening. Day three, then, after breakfast at the hotel, then we're going to just take a short ride over to Colonial Williamsburg. I've been here 12 of the last 14 days in a row with some student groups. So I feel like I should probably just get a room at one of the inns at this point. But it's such a beautiful area. The weather has been amazingly warm for this time of the year. And, you really appreciate all that Colonial Williamsburg Foundation has done and the meticulous recreation and the restoration that they've done to all of these buildings that are there and to the museums that they've created. So we're going to take a guided tour. So with costumed interpreters, we'll meet them there. They are certified, so they do give you 100% accuracy of history revolving around Colonial Williamsburg. We're going to go up to the Merchant Square area, which is at the opposite end of the Capitol. And there you can have lunch on your own. There's many great little restaurants there. There's sandwich shops. There's little coffee houses. There's some different restaurants that are full service. So it depends on what you want to do for your lunch. And then there's various little shops there as well that you can shop in. One of the funny ones is the Lululemon shop. Everybody's like, "That's not really colonial, is it?" It's not, but it's right on the corner, and it's a hub where everybody tends to meet because you can pick it out. So, but there's other shopping to do as well. Then we'll return to the hotel where you'll have some time to freshen up, and we'll have dinner at a local restaurant in Williamsburg this evening. All right, moving right along. So day four, then, it's called the Historic Triangle. So it's Williamsburg, Jamestown, and Yorktown. They form the historic triangle there of time. And on this morning after breakfast, we're going to head over to Yorktown. And we're going to have seating for the annual Yorktown Victory Parade. This does happen every October, and it celebrates the 1781 Revolutionary War victory. So you do have some of those historical characters as the fife and drums from Williamsburg comes over. There are a lot of other costumed performers, but then you also have some current day military folks and local bands, and it's just a great celebration to celebrate not only the past, but the current and the future as well. So we'll have our seating for that. We're going to have a boxed lunch so that you can have a little snack while the parade's going on and have a really good afternoon there. Once the parade is over, we'll board our bus and we're going to head over to Yorktown Revolution Museum. This is a great museum, really is. They have a film when you go inside that you can watch, gives you really good history, and then there's just so many exhibits in the museum as well as outside. There are outside exhibits as well. So it's just a real great time, very easy to be self-guided. You just walk through, and if you're one of those people who like to read about history, there's plenty of things to read about. And if you're one that's more like myself, I like the exhibits and the artifacts to look at. There's plenty of that as well. So you'll have a great visit there. And then we're going to go outside to the amphitheater, and they're going to do a live history demonstration. So they'll be doing some cannon firing. The fife and drums will be there from Williamsburg. And it's just a really, really, really cool situation here because you're outside of where it actually took place, and then they're recreating it. So you really feel like you're part of it. After the demonstration is over, we'll return to the hotel, have a little time there. And then in the evening, we're going to have a special celebration. This is something that we do that's a little unique. And you're going to join some very special people, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Patrick Henry. You're going to have dinner with them as well as a gala where they're going to have some music and they're going to dance and they're going to entertain. And it's just a really fun night to kind of wrap your arms around that history in person, if you will. And that's at the Paradise Ocean Club. So great venue for that.
And I have to jump in and say here, like, this is exclusive. Like,
Yeah,
this is something that US Tours has put together just for a few tour companies like Star. So we are very lucky to be included in this and to have the opportunity to have, you know, these founding fathers, breaking bread and celebrating with us at this gala. So just a really cool way to highlight this trip. And especially, everybody's been talking about the 250th, right? So it's like, what are you doing for the 250th? Well, this is a heck of a way to celebrate and learn at the same time. So
absolutely. Absolutely. And I hear that Thomas Jefferson can cut a rug, so you have to
who
keep your eyes.
knew? Who knew?
Who knew, right? So then on day 5, we're going to have breakfast at the hotel again. Then we're going to meet a guide and we're going to go over to Yorktown to the battlefield and do a guided tour there, which is, I think it's important because you need to hear that history and you need to hear what goes on. So, or what did go on in that specific location. So we'll have our guide and we're going to have a boxed lunch. And then we're going to head over to Fort Monroe. And this is kind of an exciting place too. It's at the mouth of the Chesapeake River, so location is just amazing. Amazing views, good place to take pictures, and you'll see it in the lower right-hand corner there. That's Fort Monroe. So we'll do a guided tour there. And then we're going to pop over not too far away. We're going to go to the 1920s Hampton Carousel, where you're going to be able to take a ride on that wooden carousel. There's only 70 wooden carousels remaining in the United States, and this is one of them. So it is really beautiful and something to see. There is a lot of history there. They do have an area where you can see how the carvers hand carved them out of the wood. So it's just really, it's a masterpiece. It really is. It's beautiful and it's something to see. So we're going to stop there before we go back to the hotel for a little bit. And then in the evening, we'll have dinner at a colonial tavern. So
You got to do that while you're in Williamsburg.
you
You got
have to do that when you're there. The candlelight and the food and they welcome you like as if you're a guest coming into the tavern that you just got off your horse outside. So just a great experience there with that.
horse and carriage versus a 45-foot motor coach.
It's one street versus the other, Okay, so day 6, breakfast at the hotel. Then we're going to check out, make sure all your bags are on the bus, everybody's loaded up and ready to go. And we have one more stop, and that is at the historic Christ Church and Museum. The church was built in 1732. It is an Episcopal church, and it is one of the best preserved churches in the South of the United States. And it has been given that connotation by many people. So you can see here some of the different pictures that we have on the screen there, and that it really does depict the feeling of the space. It's just really, again, historic, and it kind of brings it all together for the end of the tour. And then you'll have lunch on your own as we stop on the way home.
Wow. I said that there's a lot in that tour, and it turns out there is a lot in that tour.
Oh, wow.
So, there was a question, will we be stopping at the visitor center in Williamsburg?
If we do, it will be briefly, but we can make that happen. I mean, that we have to go there anyway to drop the guide to get all of the information. So when we do that, we could always do a brief stop there. They can get off and go in and view the museum a little bit there. And there's a gift shop there and restrooms.
Got
Right
it.
now, they are under construction, so it's not real easy to get to. Hopefully, by the time that this tour comes around, they'll be back up in good shape.
Yeah. Good, good, good. There was a question, are these tours, I think the question was, is this tour and maybe even the train tour wheelchair accessible? I would say that these two tours that we have just talked about are not great for those of you that require a wheelchair. When you're in Colonial Williamsburg, you're talking about cobblestone streets, and you're often on the bus a lot of times. When it comes to the train tour in northeastern PA, trains are known for not being wheelchair friendly. So I would say that these are not recommended for those that require a wheelchair.
I would agree.
And then Jean, there's a comment that they love your hat.
Fits
Does
right
anybody
in.
have any other questions for Sharon? You can put them in the chat or you can raise your hand and ask. I will tell you that, as you could probably tell, Jean Gray is the tour director for this trip. As I said, it's October 16th. I still have plenty of room for everybody to come on this trip. So I think there's 6 or 8 or 10 people booked. We had some people that have already called about it. So we still have room for you, but I expect this trip uh, to sell very well because of everything that's included. US Tours does a fantastic job, especially with gala events. I've been to some myself. All right. So let's see. Let's see. I'm just going to show you the price again in case you want to take a screenshot. And then we'll pop on to talking about our next tour. So this is the Yorktown Victory Parade, and here are the prices and the dates in case you want to take a screenshot of that. Okay, now we are going to shift into Andy Griffith's 100th birthday in Mount Airy, North Carolina. I can't talk about, I did not watch Andy Griffith, but I will tell you, like every night when I turn on the TV, it's on, it's on. I don't watch it, but it's on. So I know a lot of people must watch it. So I'm kind of left in the dust on this one. But I can tell you that it is quite popular. In fact, it already has 33 people booked on it. So a lot of you do like Andy Griffith. Um, so this tour is middle of October, again, October 19th through 23rd, 5 days, 8 meals, $2,079 for 2 people in a room per person, and then $25.79 per person for your own room. So this tour is also planned by US Tours. You know that they do these special event, like who thinks of these things? US Tours does. So Sharon, tell us about this tour and what we can experience.
Oh, we
And
just
maybe you
love
should tell
this
people
tour,
who Andy Griffith is. I know everybody
right?
knows, but I don't.
I mean, did you ever see the Andy Griffith show?
Well,
Like,
no, because I'm not
well,
really a TV watcher.
yeah. So, and I think it was, you have to be a little older maybe to say that you watched the first run of them because it was probably a little before my time, but I have watched some of the reruns. But yeah, he was the sheriff in town and they were funny and just a great family person. He had a son and an aunt and just really great values and morals. And so we love to celebrate Andy Griffith, and we've been celebrating his birthday every couple years. We try and do like about every 5 years, we do a big celebration. So this year, 100, I can't believe it. And this is a great tour. So we're going to go to Lynchburg, Virginia. We're going to have lunch on our own on the way. So we'll stop and let you stretch your legs and get some lunch. And then we're going to overnight at the Virginian Hotel. And, with this tour, not only is it celebrating Andy Griffith and some of the quaint things about Mayberry and Lynchburg area and some of the other cities in Virginia, but this tour has great hotels. It really does. So we're going to overnight at the Virginian Hotel and we're going to have dinner there in the evening. It is part of the Hilton Curio collection, and it was initially built in 1913. So it really is a historic building, but they did a complete renovation of the building in 2018. So it is modern to a point where you have all of your modern amenities, but it still holds that historic charm of the building. All right. Then in the next morning, we'll have breakfast at our hotel before we head off for the day. You're going to check out of that hotel. It was just a one-night stay. We're going to go over to Mount Airy, North Carolina. And this is home to the National D-Day Memorial. And you'll see the picture, middle section on the left there is a good overview of the memorial. Just a really somber but really celebrated place for those lives that were lost on D-Day. And I didn't realize, I mean, I guess I heard it in history class, but they Allies lost more than 10,000 fatalities in that, just in that incident of the war of World War II. So just really, it does celebrate a lot of things and memorialize a lot of people. So great place to visit. We're going to have a tour there, and then we're going to be leaving, stopping for lunch on your own and making our way down to Mount Airy. Here you're going to be at Hampton Inn for 2 night stay in Mount Airy itself. So we'll be able to hub and spoke throughout the rest of the itinerary. So this evening, we do something a little different and something special. We bring in Neil Brower, and Neil is just a person who captivates you when he speaks. He is not only a professor, but he also is an artist and a writer. He wrote a book, and the book was called Mayberry 101, Behind the Scenes of the TV Classic. And it's just a really good book. It talks a lot about Andy Griffith and the show, and he tells things like those little off things that happen behind the scenes and the way that they had to actually make the show. It wasn't like they do it today. It was different times. So he talks about all of those things, and just really, really captivating speaker. So after we have our time with Neil, then we're going to have dinner at the Cross Creek Country Club. And you see that pictured on the bottom left there, just a beautiful property. We'll go there. And then John Floyd is going to join us after dinner. He is called the Mouth of Mayberry. He is a comedian, but he is a very clean, family-oriented comedian that just makes you laugh until you cry. So sometimes those are the best guys out there. And he'll tell all kinds of anecdotes also about Mayberry and Barney Fife and all of the characters that were part of the show. So after that, then we're going to return back to our hotel for the evening. Day 3 starts after breakfast. We're going to actually go into Mayberry. And this is something that we've taken pride in, because I can remember the day that my boss realized that you could get tours in squad cars, and he was so overly excited, and we've been doing it ever since. So you actually get a tour in an original squad car, just like they had in the Andy Griffith show. And it's just really exciting to drive around and have your guide talk to you as you're in the back of the squad car, right? And then we're going to have some time for lunch on our own and some shopping in downtown Mayberry. Barney's Cafe is pictured there on the bottom left, and that Barney Fife was an employee in the sheriff's department that Andy was the sheriff of. So Barney was always the funny guy. He was the comedian, and so that's part of the draw here is Barney's Cafe is a lot of fun. And of course, Mayberry on Main is full of souvenirs. Anything Mayberry, anything Andy Griffith. So just a lot of fun.
I have to say, this is looking pretty cool to me now.
Yeah, it really is. So then in the afternoon, we're going to actually go to the Andy Griffith Museum and Playhouse. And what a lot of people don't realize is Andy Griffith, he actually started on stage in high school. And so but this tour is kind of unique because it takes you to the high school, to the stage where he started. And then you get to also go into the museum. You get to hear about, again, more about the show, but there's also great exhibits of, you know, the one I see there is the Taylor House. So that's part of the museum. Um, and so it just explains, if you do know about the show, it does explain more about things that you heard about on the show, makes it kind of all come together. And one of my favorite statues is the one on the left there in the middle. That's Andy and Opie. That's his son. And they, at the end of the day, they would always go fishing together. So he was a good dad. He spent time with his son and they would go fishing. So just kind of a cool little memorial there for that. All right, day 3 continues. Then we're going to go a little bit different. And I was trying to figure out, I don't know how we can't really tie this in too much to the Andy Griffith theme, but the Siamese Twins Museum. And it's because it's there. That's why we're doing it. And it is something that is so unique. When you go, you're going to be like, I can't believe I never was here before. So the Bunker brothers were Siamese twins, and they were entertainers, and they entertained around the world. They were world renowned. They, you know, have all kinds of artifacts in this museum, places they were and people they met and things that they did. And so it's just really, it's a great museum. It really is. So we're going to do that. And then in the evening, we're going to have a bluegrass show. And this is kind of fun because the bluegrass show is reminiscent of the Darlings. And again, if you did watch the show at all, there was this hillbilly kind of family that was like a singing family that popped up every now and then on the show, and they were called the Darlings. So this bluegrass group does a lot of that and reminiscent of the music that they would have played during the Andy Griffith time frame and did actually play on the show. So it's kind of fun, takes you back there. All right, then day 4, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to leave Andy and we're going to go over to Patsy Cline. And I'm sure everybody knows who Patsy Cline is. She was one of the first females to be inducted in the Grand Ole Opry. And she's also in I believe it was in like 72 or 73, she was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. You hear her songs, it's like my kids can sing her songs. Like it's like strange how young kids know these songs, right? So we're going to visit her home, and that picture in the upper right hand corner there, that white house, that was her home. That's where she lived before she became famous, believe it or not. They moved in there when she was about 16 years old, and she lived there for a total on and off of about 15 years. And in that time frame became famous. They moved around, she got married, and so she wasn't here full time, but that is known as her home. It is on the Registry of Historic Places, and just a really good place to see inside. They have you can see there the picture of one of her costumes and some artifacts and things that relives her history in country music. And then we are going to go and check in for our overnight at the George Washington Hotel in Winchester, Virginia. And as I said, this tour has great hotels in it. So we're just staying for the one night, but we're going to be at the George Washington Hotel, and we're going to have dinner there. And in the evening, then we have probably what I think is one of the best Patsy Cline tribute artists ever. And we've had her perform a lot for us around the United States. But she's really, really good. So she comes and she'll finish dinner with us and then give us a little performance. So you feel like you're right alongside of her when she does that. So it's a great tour, great way to end the tour. And then day 5 after breakfast, we'll check out and head back home on our bus. And this, like I said, this is just something different. I think it's a fun itinerary, brings back memories for a lot of people, things that maybe you forgot about. And then you go, oh, yeah, I remember that from the show. So just a lot of fun.
That's great. Thank you so much. What's the name of the tribute? Do you know the name of the Patsy Cline tribute artist? I know. I know. I actually have, it's not on the tip of my tongue, but I should know it
Yeah,
as well.
I know. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's you should have asked me this morning, and then I probably could have kind of late in the day. I can get it. I can
What do
get
you
it with
think
spirit.
about if you have a walker on this and you want to go on this trip?
This trip isn't too bad for walking. It's a lot of sitting with entertainment, a few museums for walking, but not too bad. So
Good.
I would say, yeah, I'd say this is good for walkers.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you were looking that up, but does anybody have any questions for Sharon about this trip? Just to recap, October 19th through 23rd, Christine Derling is your tour director on this trip. Yay, there she is. There's 33 travelers already booked. There's about 20 or so seats left. I imagine that this will sell out as well, especially because Andy Griffith was so popular, just not to me. But I do, as soon like Opie, as soon as you said that, I remember hearing all
Mhm.
about that and the Mayberry, Mayberry and the squad cars and all that stuff. So, um, Christine's asking, how does the squad car tour work for a busload of people? And how long is the ride?
The ride is about 20 to 25 minutes. And what we do is we break the group up into, I believe there's 8 squad cars. I want to say there's 8 now. They keep adding to them. And so we break the group up. We can put about 4 to 5 people in each squad car. And then we kind of rotate the group through as they're having time on their own, walking around on Main Street there as well. So works out
Awesome.
pretty good.
Sounds pretty cool. Let's see, any other questions? Someone asked, is there a pickup? Well, our southernmost pickup is in Chester, Pennsylvania. So, as long as we have a minimum of 3 people, you can pick up the trip in Chester, Pennsylvania, and then we will take you on your way. You can leave your car if you'd like at the Harris Casino. There is a parking lot, a covered lot that you can use for that, and there is no cost to park there. All right. Well, thank you very much, Sharon.
You're
Six
welcome.
is a great number. Six is a great number. So, thank you very much for presenting. I'm looking forward to sending you 2 full buses for both of these trips. As I said, we always love when you plan our trips for us because there's always fun, cool, unique things to do. Not to say ours aren't fun, cool, and unique, but I'm not planning like a gala with the founding fathers. It's just not that's like I couldn't be able to do my day
Patsy
job and
Cline
do that.
tribute is Liz Ruffner.
All right, she got it. Liz
Liz
Ruffner is the Patsy Cline
Ruffner.
tribute artist.
Yep, you can look her up.
Awesome, awesome. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's to get down to business. We have 2 ways for you to book your trip. You can call our travel advisors, Samantha, Leilani, or Jenny. They are available to you between 9 and 5, Monday through Friday, or you can book online 24/7 at 3 in the morning. If you decide you want to book this trip, it will be available to be booked. And I always like to remind you, we'll be here every Tour Tuesday, every first Tuesday of every month, is Tour Tuesday. So next May, we'll be presenting on Gloucester, Salem, and Boston, Wales, witches, and waterfronts. We'll be presenting on Lake Michigan's magnificent shores. Pittsburgh Panorama and the National Capital Region Land of the Free, another tour that you might think about, especially for the 250th. If you don't already follow us on Facebook, join our Facebook group specifically for solo travelers if you are a solo traveler or if you're interested in traveling solo. And we also have a Facebook group for cross-country travelers. Now it is time to announce our gift certificate winner. At the end of every Tour Tuesday, we give a $25 gift certificate slash credit to be applied to your whatever trip you would like, your next trip or trips, 3 trips from now, whatever you want to do with that $25, it's yours if you are Roseanne Suter. So Roseanne, there she is. I see her clapping. Good job, Roseanne. Congratulations. And we will add that to your account. But if you want to give us a call tomorrow, just to make sure we have everything, all of our ducks in a row, we will do that. But when we add it to your account, we will send you an email. So you will have a reminder that we did that. So congratulations. And it's 8:03, so I'm letting you guys go. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next May 5th for our next Tour Tuesday. Happy travels, everybody. Bye. Thank you.